So static methods, so we just discussed about methods descriptions, different parts of the methods. Now we'll discuss different type of methods, static methods and non-static methods. So static methods, so if a method prototype line contains a static keyword, then that method is called a static method. And the static method is basically common to all other class methods. So once you create a static method, you can even call directly in the same file another class, another static method or another non-static method also directly. So because it's a common, right? Static means common. So you can call that one static method in another static method or a non-static method. Both methods you can call directly. So no need of any reference, all these things in the same class. But other classes, it will vary. We'll learn them, how it is going to be called, all those things. With the practically, we'll see the syntaxes. So basically, static members are associated with the class. That's why these are class variables also, we call them. Static variables, you can access in the static methods as well as non-static methods. Even static methods also, you can access in static methods as well as non-static methods in the same file, same class. And how you can access in another places, you have to use the class name. For example, you want to access static variables and static methods in another class, you have to use the class name dot static variable, class name dot static method. That's a simple logic. So there are some important points. Let's get these points. The static methods of particular class can only access the static variables and can change them. So that means, for example, you have a static variables, you can access them in the static methods. You can change them if you want. The same variable value, if you want to modify, you can modify in the static methods. Or you want to initialize the static variable, you can create a static block also. So static methods can't refer to the non-static variables and non-static methods. So static method inside, you cannot call the non-static variables, non-static methods directly. So you don't have option directly to call them. But there is a different way to call them. So I will see that. So static methods inside, you cannot use a super or this keywords. These two are not applicable inside the static methods. So super and this keywords are no important. These are not applicable inside the static methods. So these are the four points. You should remember them. So okay, static methods are different types again. So static method can call any other static method in the same file or any static method in the different files also. So static method, two types, or basically void type and return type. So void type again, parameterized, non-parameterized. So non-parameterized, it means there are no parameters inside the parentheses. So this is the syntax: access modifier, static, void, method name, parenthesis, curly bracket, logic, and curly bracket ends. Parameterized static method. If a method contains parameters inside the parenthesis, so then that method is called parameterized static method. Access modifier, static, void, method name, bracket data type, p1 comma data type, p2. So, and curly bracket, start logic, curly bracket ends. So this is the parameterized static method. These are with void, right? Both are with void. One, so without parameters, with void with parameters. If you don't write a void keyword in the method signature line, then static method syntax is access modifier, static, data type, method name. And you can see here in the void place, we're using a data type, logic, and then return a value. So after logic, you will get some output, right? That output is you just return. So it will be stored in some variable. That variable name you can write here in this value place. So that value should be whatever the data type you are creating here before the method name. That is a return type. Okay, this logic giving what type of data, you want what type of data. So that you will decide here data type. And another one, access modifier, static, data type, method name. So data type P1, comma, data type P2 and so on. Logic, return value, semicolon, curly bracket ends. So this is the so static methods without void. So without void means a return keyword will come in the method bodies. So let's go and write the methods, and I will explain one by one. So scenarios, different scenarios we have, how to call static members in the same class, and how to call methods in the same class, different type of methods. I'll explain one by one. So let's start writing the programs. So any questions before going? Okay. So let me open my Eclipse. You can open any IDE tool. So for methods, I will use this Eclipse. Then we'll move to VS Code Editor. VS Code Editor also we'll explore. Then IntelliJ also will explore some programs there. So all three IDE tools will explore, so that wherever you go, you can use any of the IDE tools without facing any problems. Okay. First, I'll create static members demo. Take main method. So first so let me increase the, right? It's visible now, right? For everyone. Okay. So first I want to declare static variables, because all static members only I'll declare here. Access modifier, static, data type, variable name equal to value. So I'm just, what is this? Static variable syntax. Static variable syntax. So I'll use all the different type of variables. Private, static. So char C equal to capital A. Next, second access modifier I'm going to use is a default. So default means blank. Then immediately you'll start with the static keyword. So data type int. So I equal to 20. Then protected static float f equal to 2.5 f. So public static long L equal to 50, capital L. So all types of now access modifier I have used, and also different data types I used. But variable is one type of variable only I declared as of now. Only one type of variable, that is static variable. Why it is static variable? Below the class, above the methods, with the static keyword, we declared and assigned the value. So declared and assigned value both happened here. So I have declared a variable and assigned a value with assignment operator. So declared a variable and assigned a value with 20. So declared a variable, this variable data type is a float, and the access modifier is a protected. So this variable name is L and assigned a value 50, and L data type is a long, and this access modifier is a public. So this is all easy if you remember this syntax. Okay, everything in this syntax only. So you can tell each part if you remember this syntax. Here each part you can explain easily. Okay, now let's use this data, all these variables names you can use inside the method body to write a logics. So the first type of method I want to use is, so I'm going to use first method void without parameters. So static method, static void method name parenthesis. So no parameters. First type of method, first static type of method with void logic. That's it. I'll build the logic inside, and you don't want to print anything. So this is just I want to show you division between these variables. So write a program to get quotient and remainder. Okay, so that's the one. Okay, so I'll follow access modifier. I'll use private. Again, access modifiers also I'm covering here. Practically, I'm showing here. So just theory part I have given. And if you know the theory part, then easy to implement here. So what is mean by private, where you can access, where you cannot access, I explained very clearly in the theory. Now I'm going to cover in the practical. So static, so void, the method name is a division method. So I'm just giving a division method. See, the method name you should write all lowercase with one word. The method name you should write all lowercase if it is a one word. So it is a one word, that's why all lowercase I have written, even first letter also. See, as per this, I am following access modifier, first part, private, second part, static, third part, return type keyword. So next method name after parenthesis after curly bracket start, then body. So body, I will declare so many things, right? I can declare variables. I can create the method. I can create the logic. I can call the methods. I can create object. I can print them. So these are all statements you can place inside the method body. So first I'll declare a one local variable also. I'm covering local variables also. So what is the local variable syntax? So data type, variable name equal to value. So we're all new, and again I'm repeating the variables and data types again. So data types is char, int, float, long, double, boolean. So these are all the data types. And variable types are static variable, so local variable, instance variable. This is the local variable. So why I'm calling local variable? Because I'm declaring inside the method part. That's a condition. If this condition is not satisfied, you should not say it's a local variable. So I'll just go byte bt equal to 5 or 6, whatever it is. Short sh equal to 10. So byte to short, so data types also I declared and assigned a value. So I'll make this as a final, okay? Final variable. So final variable means you cannot change that value. So you have to make it a capital letter. That's a, maybe I can put a data. Capital letter. Everything you should write a capital letters. Now, so first reminder. How can you get the reminder? Using modulus. Module. Module. So, or modulos. Modulo. Okay. You can use this. So I'm going to use all this. So character also integer part. I already mentioned. If a character participates in the mathematical operations, the character ASCII code will come and participate. Remember, again, I'm repeating this statement. If your character is participating in the mathematical operations, the character ASCII code will come and participate. So that's what it is going to happen. So you know mathematical operations means plus, so minus, so multiplication, division, all this, right? So those operations, I'm going to use them here. Say that I'll use C plus I plus L. So then percentile, sorry. Okay, percentile and BT plus data. So this output I want. So, okay, what is this output it is giving? So left hand side, we have to assign. Okay, I'll assign the declare and assign the local variable. And maybe into result, maybe reminder I'll put. Okay, I want a integer. I can put integer. So reminder value. So give the proper okay reminder value. See, it is giving some error. Why it's giving error? So type mismatch. Why it is a type mismatch? Read carefully. Cannot convert from long to integer. Why it is a long? Already you are using a long value here on the right hand side. So the entire data will become a long only. Long is memory size is 64-bit and integer memory size is 32-bit. So 64-bit data you cannot fit in the 32-bit, right? Obviously you will get a, so some data will be outside of the range. So definitely we'll lose the data. So in order to avoid that, we have to do a typecasting. So add cast, that means convert this long also to integer format so that you won't miss any data and lose the data. So then print this. Just put reminder values. Okay. Next, I want to fetch the quotient value. See, I'm consuming here. I declared ones. I'm using them here. See, C, I, L, I have used already. And this local data also I am using here in the calculations. So data just for storing. Once you store, you can use that variable wherever you want these values. You have to use the variable name only. So to participate these values in the calculations. Next. So I want a double quotient value equal to, and I can combine all of them. So all these data. So I can do again, how you can do quotient value using forward.
Right.
So now I can use C plus I plus L plus F and this division BT plus data. Okay, so then you can print the value. That's a simple logic. I don't want to return anything from this method. I don't want to write anything. That's why I use it void. Just execute all these lines of code. That's it. I don't want any output from this method. That's why I use it a void keyword. So you need to remember that. If you're using a void means the meaning is, okay, your method is not returning anything, just executing all the lines of code. Quotient value. Just write one or two lines, one or two letters, then control spacebar if you press, automatically your variable name will show in the panel. So that's it. Other than that, everything if you write it, it will take time, right? Quotient output is, let's put it proper. That's it. One simple method how to create. Okay. So let's move on next. What is the next type of method? A static method with
Parentheses with parameters.
void with parameters.
Mm-mm.
So data type P1, comma. So data type P2. Now here I'm going to write a program to swap given two integers without using third variable. So without using third variable. What is the program we are doing? Write a program to swap given two integers without using third variable. So you should not use a third variable. You have to use only parameter 1 and parameter 2 only. Using that two, you have to swap. P1 value should go to P2, P2 value should go to P1 after your logic. So that's the logic we need to develop. So access modifier, I'll take a public first part. Second part is static as it is because I want to create a static method. Then void, I don't want to return anything. Just execute all the statements. Swap integers. Okay. So int A, comma, int B. So that's the simple method. I'll first print these two numbers before swapping. So before swapping, A is plus A, B is plus B. So B is plus B. Now, you can write the logic. First step, step 1. Sum A and B and assign to A. So what is the first step? Sum A and B, A comma B, and then assign to A variable. That's the first step. So let's do that. A equal to A plus B. So as per the step, I have created the logic. Then step 2. Now subtract B value from this step 1A. So subtract B value from step 1A value and assign to B. And assign to B. So B equal to A minus B. Step 3. So subtract B from A. Okay. So subtract step 2B value. Okay. Sorry. Step 2B value from step 1A value and assign to A. So A equal to A minus B. That's it. So you got swapped values. This is a simple logic, right? It doesn't take much code also. After swapping, so that's it. Both void methods are done. Both void methods are done. Any questions on this?
One small information.
Yeah.
So, how can I know which method to, for example, if I'm writing a method, so how would I know whether I need to use a parameterized method or non-parameterized static methods?
Yeah, right. Okay. So that's a good question. See, you want to test a logic with a different sets of data. Always create with the parameters. So this parameters is nothing but input to your method to test this logic.
Okay.
Got it? This parameters but an input to test this logic with the different sets of data, not the same data. But if you don't want to test with a different sets of data, same data you can use, you just need to get the output. So don't create it with the parameters. See, I didn't use here. I'm using a static data here with this data only.
Correct.
But here you can test this, call this method, you can test this with any type of integer and integer b. 2 values you give and you will get the output for each data. So that is the parameterized method and without parameters. So once you understand your requirements, you will come to know, okay, you're giving a different data or a single data. It all depends on understanding the requirements.
Okay. So for example, if I'm writing a method without void, okay. So I mean, if I don't write a void, we will be returning some value, as you
Yeah,
have said, right?
right.
So at the time also the data will be, I mean, different, right? I mean, I can use multiple
Yeah, you can use a
values.
parameterizer method.
Okay.
Okay.
Accordingly, method logic also will change, right, Ramesh? If it returning some value, the method returning some value means here we need to put what value is returning, that return type also,
Yeah,
and so that it will go and stay in the
yeah,
method.
I'll show you that. I'll show you that. So, return type methods logic is first you have to remember this syntaxes. If you remember the syntax, your life is easy. If you don't remember, it's difficult. You will forget syntaxes, and while creating the methods, you will miss that. So, data type, method name. So, parenthesis. I'm not using any parameters. So, because for this data, I don't need anything. Okay, logic and a return value. This is the logic. I'll follow this. But what program you want to write here now? I want to return a random value from 0 to 1. So write a program to fetch random double value from 0 to 1. Okay. That's it. See, now you need to think, okay, how can I generate the random double value from 0 to 1? Is there any logic we should know? Yes, there is a default method in the math class. So math class is used for performing the mathematical operations. So in Java, if you want to perform any mathematical operations, so this math class will be used, and this math class has all static methods. Okay, so it is available java.lang.math class. So predefined class, this math class. So you have so many methods. To achieve this, you need to use a random method. This random method will give 0 to 1 random W. Every time you will get a new value. It's a dynamic. So when you can use another, this return type is always you want to generate a dynamic data. Then you can use a return type values, return type methods. And also based on your input, you want to get output differently every time. And that output you want to use somewhere else. Then you create a return type method. So let's go and create this quickly. And I'll create a static, because of access modifier I'm using here default. And data type I want to return a double data, because random double data I want to return. Get random data. So no input, I don't need to give any input. Just call this method from this class. Static method. This is also static method from this class. Always I told you class name dot static method. But this method is a returning a value. This is not a void method. This method is giving output to you. So I need to store in some variable, because this method is giving output, right? I need to store. So first, so I'll you need to understand this. So syntaxes. What is the syntax is? So return type methods, how to call return type. So always data type. Okay, this method is giving what type of data, that data type I will write. Then So some variable to store the output of that method. This method is giving output. Okay. That value you need to store here. Variable value, local variable value equal to, and class name dot return type static method. So this is how you can call a return type static methods. Now this is the return type static method. So that's why follow this. So this method returns a double data. So I can call return letter. I will use this letter double. So random data equal to. So class is math class dot random. See, if you just press, you can see yes is showing on the method above. That means it is a static method. And also this method is from the math class, and this method is returning a double type of data. See, first method name colon, what is the return type, then which class. So this method is from which class. So returns a double value with a positive sign greater than g equal to 0.0 and less than 1.0. So that's what this method is going to do. Then return this data. I'm not printing. I'm just returning the data. So that's how you can create a return type. As per this formula, it is following or not. See, access modifier. So default, static, double. Method name is get random data method name, curly bracket. So I have written the logic. So return this output, because this method output is storing here. That I am returning. And this method always returns a double type of data. So that is already predefined. Now see, this method also returns a double data. Okay, because this is a double data, right? I am returning a double data. So based on your output, what type of data you want, that data type you have to write it here before method name. So that's the first return type method. Any questions before? Let's join back immediately because this will log off. Join the same meeting using that link, and we'll write a last